Happy birthday, Oliver. Or should I say, happy Earth Strong. Remember one thing, and me boss you.
Do I know you? What you mean if you know me? Why you hollering out me name?
Friends, Oliver Samuels is a national treasure. And I was privileged to work closely with him for a number of years and to have played a part in the, what do I call it, the evolution of Oliver Samuels, who is now an icon in Jamaica, across the Jamaican diaspora, and across the world. Now, I know it all started in St. Mary, but of course, I wouldn't be able to give you the details on how Oliver Samuels came about. All I know, I'm born in St. Mary and eventually end up in Kingston. And I have a particular closeness, I feel a particular closeness to Oliver because my roots are in St. Mary too, because my grandmother was born in Hampstead and is from St. Mary, and so I always feel that kindred spirit with Oliver. But the strong relationship between Oliver Samuels and Babsy Grange came about in the 80s when he was working at the Social Development Commission. Now I'm telling you a story here. I don't know how many people know the story, but I've told the story more than once. So I don't want anybody to say, oh, one more time she's telling it. But I just want to put it on the record again. Oliver was working at the Social Development Commission. I was in the office of the Prime Minister with responsibility for culture and special events. At that time, Mr. Seaga was the Prime Minister. International Year of the Youth was declared by the UN. And I was given the responsibility to promote an international event where we would bring young people, and I hear this now, young people from all over the world to celebrate International Year of the Youth. So I've always admired Oliver in his quote-unquote quiet way. And I thought, he's being wasted at SDC. And Oliver was the kind of person, as he opens his mouth, you couldn't help but laugh. So I negotiated a deal to get Oliver Samuel seconded to me at the office of the Prime Minister. So he came, and we had all these series of events planned. We're looking at like 45 events over a 10-day period, but it took us a couple of, I would say a year or so, to plan all these events. We had gospel, we had pop music, with jazz, you name it. And I thought, you know, Oliver was so expressive, how he said things, his whole persona, that I thought, I want Oliver to do all the commercials for all these events. So I got Calvin Butler, who is a film producer, and an associate at mine who lived in Toronto, a Jamaican, lived in Toronto. In fact, he and Lenny Littlewhite were quite close in Toronto, coming out of Ryerson in building a career in film and television. And so I asked Calvin, I said, Calvin, come to Jamaica. I want you to film Oliver doing all these commercials. But while you're doing that, I want to develop a comedy series, because at that time, we were watching comedy series on television, but not of Jamaican actors. And I knew that our people were vibrant and colorful and very expressive, and I wanted to see us on television. So I said to Calvin, come to Jamaica, and while you're working with us to do the commercials with Oliver, I want us to develop a series, a comedy series. And so we came up with the concept, Oliver at Large.
Oliver, you're large, oh. Oliver, you're large. Oliver, you're large, oh. Oliver, you're large. Oliver, you're large, oh. Oliver, you're large. Oliver, you're large.
The challenge that I had was to find the funds to produce these shows. I went to Gloria Lanneman, the late Gloria Lanneman, who at the time was general manager of JBC Television, and said to her, we want to get Oliver on television. We want to get the comedy series going. She says, well, I don't have the money. We're looking at a half an hour a show, a 16, I think 13 or 16 episodes. She says, I don't have the money. I said, try and find a little. Even if you found a little, so we could do vignettes, like 5-minute vignettes, so it would be a taste of Oliver at Large. She found the funds. At that time, Don Buckner was head of television. Don Buckner has also passed. So a number of these persons who played a part in getting Oliver at Large on television, they have now transitioned, but they played an important part in making it happen. So we did the 5-minute vignettes, and of course was a hit. And after that, it opened some doors, so we could now get the series funded. Now, Jamaicans looked forward to Oliver at Large. Jamaicans look forward to Oliver.
Then where you come from with them, I will call out. Arms out.
Why you won't mind your own business? Certain creatures should never travel on the same plane with decent human beings.
As I look for you, I know the first time you travel on a plane.
You're an idiot. I travel regular, very regular.
And the team that worked with Oliver, those who shared the spotlight in the series and those who worked behind the scenes, many of those are now prominent individuals in Jamaica in their own right, like a Lenford Salmon and a Trevor Nairn, Patrick Brown, and number of other actors, actresses, writers, and producers.
What kind of woman you like?
A woman with a small appetite. A theatre craving woman.
It's me you're calling.
So Oliver became a household name. Now, since that time and now, Oliver has made a lot of money. Oliver rich, but Oliver don't switch. He's still my friend. Oliver would attend my annual New Year's Day party, which was held that night, of course. But on New Year's Day, people from all over the world, all the Jamaican diaspora people would be coming to Jamaica to come to that party. Now, I don't know if it was because I was a great hostess or it was because they knew they would see Oliver. But I would say that we shared the spotlight on that occasion. Oliver hasn't changed. The same Oliver at Large. But there are some other things too. Not just his acting, but he applied himself to anything that he was assigned. For example, during that period as well, while he was the voice and the face for all the commercials, I sent him off to South Korea where he learned human mosaic. He's probably the only Jamaican who has actually gone overseas and had training in human mosaic. And in addition to that, I also had Oliver take over the poll which we did to select the festival song. Carl Stone had set the template. Carl Stone would do the polls for us to select the winning song. And then when Carl was, when he discontinued spearheading that initiative, Oliver took over. So Oliver would go right across the island and come back with the poll results to select the winning festival song. So Oliver is quite versatile, not just an actor, not just a voice and a face, but a wonderful human being. And I will forever sing his praises. I appreciate him. I love him. I think him love me too, you know, because he's always telling me these nice things. And I know he's genuine. And so we're friends for life. So Oliver, remember, I'm me boss you, okay? You get rich, but you don't switch. I love you. God bless you.